It's almost Labor Day weekend, the unofficial end of summer. And if you're anything like me, there might still be a few to-do items on your summer bucket list. But fellow Connecticutans, take heart. There's still plenty to do in Connecticut. For many, fall is when the state's natural wonders sing. The weather cools and the state's fair season truly heats up. This is Where We Live from Connecticut Public Radio. I'm Catherine Shen. Today, we'll take you across Connecticut to highlight hidden gems in the state's 169 towns, or at least as many as we can during our hour together. Joining us now is the one and only Francesca Fontanez. She's Connecticut Public's lead social media editor and host of the Hidden Gems series. Francesca, welcome back to Where We Live.
So glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
And for our listeners, let us know if you have a Connecticut hidden gem that you would like to shout out to. We would love to know. Give us a call, 888-720-9677, or leave us a comment on Facebook and Twitter at Where We Live. So mention hidden gems a couple of times. Francesca, we want to hear the origin story here. So what made you want to do the series?
So it was probably the end of, I want to say, 2024 into 2025. And in the visuals department, we're allowed to pitch ideas whenever something comes up, if there's a particular story that we want to cover, or even longer form features that we think would really benefit the audience. So at that point, we had a space to kind of pitch something longer form than our typical. And I felt like a lot of the news cycle at that time was a little bit heavy. There were a lot of moving parts. It had been clearly winter, so things were slower. And I think I just collaborated with the team and kind of thought, what's a good way to bring the people to Connecticut and also bring Connecticut to the people? So that's where this kind of Hidden Gems, the program came from, the origin story.
Well, I love that because I think we all can use a little balance, right? And then it's funny because the genesis of this conversation is similar, where I've just been hearing a lot of friends and family say, like, where does summer go? You know, I have all these things I want to do. But then it kind of reminded me of, well, we actually still have a lot of things we can do. Maybe it's not like getting a tan at the beach, perhaps, but there are so many things here that we can look forward to versus lamenting like the foregone season, right? And I think you're also a Connecticut native, so this was pretty personal to you as well.
It definitely was. And I will say, being a Connecticut native, I think a lot of the time what happens is we're thought of as that kind of drive-through state. People think about New England and they think about Boston and New York City, but Connecticut gets overlooked. And so for me personally, it's definitely a passion of mine to bring Connecticut to the forefront of that New England conversation. There's a lot of beauty, there's a lot of joy, and there's a lot of those hidden gems that people just kind of gloss over as they're trying to go to one of these two major cities. Well, what about Hartford? What about New Haven, Bridgeport? There's so many, even smaller, like sometimes I'll hear of a city or town I'd never even heard of.
Right.
So I think there's so much to be explored, and you can only do that if you're optimistic and you go out and see what's waiting to be found.
And that's actually one of my favorite things about being a journalist is when you're kind of going on assignment, most of the time I'm like, where is that?
Yes.
And then actually, and this is all over the place, not just Connecticut, but it's like I actually discover so many cool places to go because of work, which is kind of funny because I know that doesn't happen for a lot of people. So with that in mind, how did you scope out these places? Was it sort of a mix of, are they all hidden gems? Did you balance with maybe some of them are a little bit known, but not so much?
So I have that upper hand from being a Connecticutie, if you will.
Love it.
I've been born and raised in Connecticut. I'm in my late 20s. So I've had a lot of time to sort of gather just from, through the grapevine. Maybe I've been there, but there's certainly plenty that I haven't seen. So I tried to do some research, and I did want to highlight primarily hidden gems. There are a couple. There are a few that have sort of maybe a social following online or have a really great marketing team. But for the most part, I wanted to highlight those gems that are just waiting to be found and don't always get the sort of recognition or the notoriety of, larger organizations.
So we want to take a listen to some of the spots that you explored in the Hidden Gem series. So first up is the Connecticut Trolley Museum. Tell us about it and who you spoke to.
So I talked to Chaz Gross. And this one, I tried to not make it like my personal love story to Connecticut, but this particular one is.
It's pretty good.
Thank you. So this one, I used to go here growing up. My grandmother lived in South Windsor, and this was one of our most favorite places to go in the whole world. So this was for the Hartford County episode. And this is the one, I don't want to say the one museum, but this is one museum within the state where the heart and soul is the people. And these conductors, the engineers, the folks who are operating the trains and the trolleys and who are even taking tickets, they have on their full suits, their hats. They let the kids toot toot the train and they ring the bell. It is just so much passion in every single individual. And even Chaz, he told me that, when he retired, he was just trying to give back to the community and do something that would really impact the people around him. And he hit the nail on the head. He was incredible.
Well, we're going to hear a clip of the Trolley Museum section right here.
As a museum, I think we offer something that many other attractions don't offer. Every museum has something to show, a look back into the past. With us, though, we're a place where history moves you. You're actually getting on something that's 120 years old and going through a place where 120 years ago trolleys were actually operating. So you're really part of the history here. You're actually hearing it and seeing it and feeling it, and it's a very, I think, very vibrant experience for people that haven't been here before. And it's really for people of all ages. Of course, the little kids just light up, and we let them toot the horn and ring the bell, and it becomes a really memorable experience for them too. Connecticut has such a deep, long past history with so many, and there are so many things to see here, between Mystic by the seashore, and us here in East Windsor. I mean, there's just so many different things to see. Never mind the art museums in Hartford. I just encourage people to get out and come and visit museums. Pick one, and whether it's us or somebody else, we welcome visitors of all ages to come and spend an afternoon with us, get the chance to know the history a little bit.
So I think one of my favorite things about living and learning about Connecticut is there's such a wealth of history, and it's history of all kinds. And we have so many museums. So it's really cool that you got to showcase the Trolley Museum. And actually one of my favorites is, and we did a show about it too, is the Antique Radio Museum. So shout out to them because they're also doing really great work sort of preserving radio history. And another favorite spot that you highlighted was the Freedom Trail in New London. So tell us about some of the history there, and we're going to be hearing a clip after this.
Yes. So the Freedom Trail in New London, what I really liked about that was the intention to, make it extremely interactive. So it's a literal trail. And when you go to these different locations, don't quote me, I think there's 18 or 19 spots. I have to look it up. But there's a QR code. So if you were to take, say, some students, some high school students, and they have their phones and they're like, what's this dusty old place? Well, no, first of all, this is a phenomenal show of not only the suffering and the difficulties that these trials and tribulations these people went through, but also the success stories. And when you scan the QR code, you get a whole wealth of knowledge around every single location. So whether it's a house, whether it's a school that was built for Black children, there is a whole plethora of information that you can get from not only seeing the plays, but also the information that someone took the time to build these websites, which is just so heartwarming to know that, even still, there are people, I assume they're volunteers, who go and took the time to sort of immortalize these stories.
Right. And do you find yourself remembering that kind of information easier when you're experiencing it yourself? Because I'm just picturing, I'm the kind of person that if I'm doing it, I remember it much better than reading it from a textbook in the classroom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's that one... there's so many stories. Just from going around Connecticut, growing up, you see a house and you think about the atrocities that happened there. You see a farm and you're like, oh my gosh, so much happened here, and we're just walking through the school field trip. But there was one, the School for Black Children, and the gentleman was given $50 from the U.S. government. And, this is the 1800s, so I'm sure it wasn't, it's not today's $50, but still, he was given $50 to provide a school for Black children, and it was kind of out of the goodness of his heart. It it wasn't his job. He
Right.
just thought there was a need and I would love to fill it. He went to the government. And so I'm looking at this brick building and I'm touching the bricks like, wow, who has been here?
Right. Yeah, we're the same kind of people.
Yeah.
That brings so much awe. We're going to hear a quick clip here when you were visiting the Freedom Trail.
Our next adventure leads us to New London's Black Heritage Trail. These 15 sites celebrate 3 centuries of Black strength, resilience, and accomplishment. We paid a visit to a few extremely inspiring landmarks on the trail and learned about some lesser-known state history from each of the plaques.
So you can follow this map to see the whole.
So going from that a different kind of trail to a different kind of trail, because we're heading into peak fall foliage season. I can't believe we're already here. And one of my favorite outdoors adventures that you highlighted was actually I think it's the Schnupset State Forest, and this park comes with some pretty epic views. So let's take a quick listen here.
For its natural beauty and rich history, this community is a great place for outdoor enthusiasts to connect with nature. Our adventure starts in Summers.
Here we are in Schnupset State Forest. We are heading to Soapstone Mountain. From that summit, we can see 4 states: Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Vermont. We drove up this path that you can see behind me, and from here, it's going to be about a 300-foot walk to get to the top. Let's go.
We trekked up the main trail from the parking area past a large structure in search of the Soapstone Mountain Observation Tower. After a very manageable walk, we found the structure. Let's go check it out. There was originally a fire tower built here, but today this place is home to a large overlook specifically for the public's recreational viewing. At the top, we were pleased to see all 4 states we were looking for. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but you can see all 4 states, which is awesome. And at the top, this tells us we're looking at, of course, North Central Connecticut, Western Mass, and then some peaks in New Hampshire and Vermont. Very exciting.
That is very exciting. The fact that you can see 4 states, that blows my mind.
It was. It has to be on a clear day. So if anyone's listening and thinking they're going to make the trek, I would 100% recommend checking the weather. But it makes you feel small in a good way. Mm-hmm. It's just a really incredible view and something you don't see every day, seeing 4 states from one peak.
Right. Definitely adding that to the list. And we love that you highlighted both indoors and outdoor adventures. So you have to tell us about this indoor ropes course at Jordan's Furniture. Tell us more.
You got it. So I went to school at the University of New Haven, which is pretty close to, the Yale campus. There's a lot of outdoor things. It's right by that long wharf, the food trucks. It's a great place to go to school. But sometimes it would rain. Mm-hmm. And one of the rainy day activities was going into Jordan's Furniture. You have to go through the furniture store, look at the lovely displays. But in the back, there is what they claim is the world's biggest indoor ropes course in the world. I was stunned. The first time I saw it, I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm just like, what is this doing in a furniture store? But I want to say it's multiple stories, either 3 or 4, and it's super expansive. Mm-hmm. Like if you're looking for a workout, if you're looking for something that will take up your entire day, I had no clue the sheer mass. I mean, obviously, it's in the name, mm-hmm. but you're thinking, how big can it be? Oh, it's huge. It is massive. And it's exciting. They have zip lines within this store.
Well, see, whoever first told me about this, my brain disconnected because I'm thinking, okay, Jordan's Furniture Store.
Sure.
I was thinking we're climbing the furniture like when you were kids, right? So like a jungle gym or like a parkour thing, but not like a literal ropes course.
Yes, I believe they're sort of unrelated, which I love because when I was at school, there was also a Blaze Pizza, which is kind of like the build your own style where you go, and that's pretty much why we actually went. So we would go and get this pizza at this ropes course that was in a furniture store, and it kind of sounds like a front. Someone's like, where were you?
Right.
I was like, oh, is that the pizza place in the ropes course in the furniture store? It just sounds like a big lie, but it's true and it's awesome.
Well, we're going to hear more about it from your series right now.
Did you know that Connecticut is home to the largest indoor ropes course? Well, let me not give too much away. New Haven County, a bustling land of sparkling shorelines, a thriving cultural scene, and home to countless adventures. We're heading to a unique indoor adventure tucked inside an unlikely location. In the back of Jordan's Furniture in New Haven, the IT Adventure Ropes Course, billed as the world's largest indoor ropes course, awaits thrill seekers of all ages. After an informative pre-rope session and testing the gear, it was time to give the course a try. The full-body harness and sling keeps ropes course navigators connected at all times while exploring the challenges. From crisscross angle rope ladders, zigzag swinging beams, cargo nets, bridges, and more, this athletic adventure does not disappoint.
So I'm going to ask you probably the hardest question of the entire hour today for you is, do you have any favorite fall events or places here in Connecticut that you want to highlight?
I do. This will be tricky, but I do have a few favorites. Before we switch off from the series, I do want to shout out my team.
Definitely.
Because they made this come to life. So a little shout out to Janae, Martha, and Ayana. Thank you so much. But for fall favorites, let's talk about Lyman Orchards. So versatile. Last year was Snoopy.
It was. We're both Peanuts fans, so
the
that was a
corn maze.
really fun time.
If you can't find something to do there between the corn maze, the pick your own, their little farm store, the apple barrel is so cute. I don't know what to tell you. I just feel like Lyman Orchards is such a great one-stop shop for fall. And also Pumpkin Town, USA, which I believe is in East Hampton. It's more of a family location, like it's kind of geared towards kids, but the artistry of it's all these scarecrows, but they're called pumpkin heads. They call them pumpkin head people. And it's a whole village. And when you go through, it's just, I would say dozens of these gorgeously painted. They're really kind of glamorous. They're posed. They're cute. Like you walk into a country store, you're thinking you're going to buy something. Nope, it's run by a pumpkin man. It's amazing. Or woman or non-binary person. It's awesome. It's very, very cool. And then also Hallowed Harvest in Plymouth, Connecticut has thousands, I want to say, I'm not going to say how many thousands, but thousands of jack-o'-lanterns. And same thing, they're very artistically done. They're not all spooky.
Right.
It's not a creepy, no one's jumping out at you. It's honestly just very artistic. Like you can see the passion and the care in like each carving. And I'm not sure the story behind it, but if I did another feature, I'd like to go there and say, who the heck is carving all these pumpkins? They are stunning. And they're all within, I want to say, so if you're like in Hartford, like our headquarters in Hartford, it's all like within 40 minutes, an hour. That's why I love Connecticut too.
Right.
You don't have to drive 4 hours to go to this sensation. Like just get in your car, drive 30 minutes, boom, you're somewhere fabulous.
And then maybe you can go to another place after the first place.
That's right. A little, brewery or Hogan Cider Mill or something.
Exactly. And so what's next for you?
So for our team, we are heading into spooky season. I know
so
it's kind
excited
of
for
rushing
this.
it, but we're doing a vlog right now, which is new. Details to come on that. So that's going to be our sort of end of summer into fall. But once we get into October, we are doing our second rendition of Spooky CT, which is kind of similar actually to the Hidden Gems series, but we look at the comments from last year and people recommend folklore and just kind of uncanny tales around the state that we should highlight. So this year, we've gotten some recommendations to look into the kind of legend of the Black Dog and the Hanging Hills around central Connecticut. We've got one to look into some kind of, there's something going on with some mines. You know those old mines that they're very famous. I should know as a Connecticut
But
person.
we'll know more now.
That's right. So we're getting a couple of comments to go look into it. It's just on social, so be sure to follow us on our social platforms at CT Public or at Connecticut Public on pretty much all the major platforms, so you can keep in touch with Spooky CT.
And we're so excited to perhaps feature it. We had a conversation last year about Spooky CT, and then so very excited to see what you guys do with it and to learn more, because that's all so fascinating. So another thing that we're going to go into later on the hour is talking about fall self-care, because we're changing up the seasons. Do you have any fall rituals or self-care routines that you like to practice?
So my family is extremely food-based. That's kind of like our comfort. That's kind of like an unspoken love is through food. So for me, I would say, and even like, I think everyone on this whole floor, we love food. And so people will leave like a little pumpkin bread in the kitchen or something. I think soup is so healing.
Yes, I'm a huge soup person.
Yes.
All seasons, but especially during the cold months, of course.
Oh, yeah. And so I think even trying like a simple recipe, like nothing too overwhelming, just something that is comforting, like a lemon chicken orzo soup on an autumn day, just feeling that crispness. And I'm very into candles. I think that
classic.
It can change the vibe.
Yeah.
Like if you feel like your house is a mess, your life is a mess, if you just light a few candles and clear off a table, it's like everything will be okay. Just having one space, one candle, and a cup of soup.
Well, it's a little chillier today, so that cup of soup sounds so good right now. Wasn't expecting that. I should have known better. Now I'm getting hungry. So, well, now we have to say bye to Francesca, but obviously we're going to have you back on to feature some of your other amazing series. You've been listening to Francesca Fontanez, who is our lead social media editor and host of the Hidden Gem series. You can watch the entire series on ctpublic.org and make sure to follow our socials. Let us know if you have a favorite Connecticut spot. We would love to hear from you. Join the conversation 888-720-9677 or find us on Facebook and Twitter at Where We Live. Coming up next, we hear more about some other fall happenings around Connecticut that you won't want to miss. From Connecticut Public Radio, this is Where We Live. I'm Catherine Shen. Stay with us. It's still August, but it's starting to feel like fall. Probably no complaints here, getting ready to leave summer behind. This is Where We Live from Connecticut Public Radio. I'm Catherine Shen. With the sizzle of summer fading, fall is a time when festivals and fairs across Connecticut truly begin to heat up. Joining us now is Jared Benoff, who's the Chief Operating Officer of visitnewengland.com and Visit Connecticut. Jared, appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
And also with us to talk about all the capital city happenings is Jordan Pollan. She's the Executive Director of the Hartford Business Improvement District. And appreciate your time as well.
Thank you so much.
So obviously, lots of fall fans here. Listeners, if you have a favorite fall activity that you're looking forward to, we would love to know what it is. Give us a call, 888-720-9677, or leave us a comment on Facebook and Twitter at Where We Live. Connecticut Public Meteorologist Gary Ochianis shares with us that he's looking forward to mulled cider, which sounds really good this morning, actually. We were just talking earlier that there's a little crisp today, so it's a perfect time for this conversation and a little hot cider. So, Jared, want to start with you here. As we've mentioned, fall's coming up. What's your favorite part of the season, and what are you looking forward to?
You're absolutely right. There is certainly a crisp in the air this week, which is kind of nice. It's a little bit of a relief from the heat wave we've had recently. When I think about fall, it's the simple things, right? It's just getting outside, going for a walk in the morning. It's seeing as the leaves change throughout the season. And then, at Visit New England, we hear from our readers all the time about what they're excited about and what they're looking forward to this season. And when I was thinking about today, I was like, what are some unique ways that you can get out and experience fall? And so I was thinking about, by land, by sea, and by air, right? Like just change it up. And so one of the things that I'm super excited about and that we hear our audience tell us about is Berkshire balloons. And so you can get out on a hot air balloon and experience the fall from above. And these hot air balloon rides are super intimate. It's like up to 4 people, and it's 2.5, 3-hour adventure in the sky. And it's a great way to see fall. And it's, again, like one of those things that's completely outside of the ordinary and one of the coolest ways to experience our state.
I mean, that's the one that really jumped out to all of us, really, is to be able to do that. So certainly adding that to the list. And another thing to look forward to is the Norwalk Oyster Festival. Tell us more about that.
Yes, it's going to be 3 days of fun. It's actually coming up really soon. It's September 5th to 7th. So it's going to be 3 days of fun, food, free entertainment once you're in, multiple stages, special events for families, friends, kids. Like everyone is going to be filled with tons of activities during the festival. I'm super excited for the Ready Go dog show that they're going to have, where it's a cast of rescued canine athletes, and they're doing high flying performances. There's also going to be a lumberjack show. There's live bands. I mean, it is going to be just a plethora of activity, and a great way to stay close to the water and get out and obviously enjoy some oysters along the way.
Well, you mentioned water just now, and also land, sea, and air. For the days where we might feel like chilling and enjoying the foliage, there's also the river foliage cruise. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the Connecticut River Museum, based in Essex, starting now through mid-September, they have a tree swallow sunset boat trip where you can get out and see literally thousands of tree swallows gather, and they perform like aerial ballets almost. And so you're on the water for nearly 2 hours, and it's a great way to see, as you approach the middle of September, you'll start to see some of the leaves change, but really it's a great way to experience bird watching. And then as the season shifts more, they offer different types of cruises. So particularly, you have a 90-minute daytime cruise or a 2-hour sunset cruise, which is my favorite because you get to experience a beautiful sunset on the water while being on the river and just enjoying the natural scenery of the season as the leaves change into mid-October.
And so, of course, fall foliage is the reason why a lot of people like to go outside during this season. And it's very special, I think, to this region. I don't know if you can really see it elsewhere. And it could be a great time to explore the 110 state parks that we have here. Do you have any favorite hikes or places that you would recommend?
Yeah, it's one of those, like you said, it's one of those amazing things about our state is that within a short drive for most people, you've got beautiful trails, whether you want to hike, walk, bike,
Right.
mountain climb, whatever it is, you've got options for you. Kent Falls State Park is one of those tried and true amazing options. You've got covered bridges, waterfalls, like dramatic views. It's really this iconic hike and different trails throughout the state park, as you mentioned. And I'm a glutton for every hike deserves a great snack after.
Yes.
And so you can go out and explore Kent or Washington or any of the other surrounding charming, cute towns. So it's a great way to spend the day and get out into the countryside.
It makes me so happy to hear you say that because that's actually how I would do hikes is go to a place I've never been to, but make sure there's like a town or whatever nearby so I can go grab a snack. So I feel
It's
very
the 1-2 punch.
yeah, I feel very validated this moment. Thank you so much for giving me the vibe to get into, with the positivity going into the new fall season. So
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about a hike, it's like you need either to hit a brewery after or have a cider donut. Like it's
exactly.
they go together.
Yeah, we love that. So, and we also love fairs here, which is also one of my favorite things to do in the fall is to go to all these fairs. And we have so many really great ones coming up this season. So what are some of your favorites that you would recommend?
Yeah, two worth mentioning today is the 164th Woodstock Fair in South Woodstock. Again, this fair truly has it all. It's one of the state's oldest fairs, which is why I wanted to mention it. Again, packed with entertainment. They have fireworks on the opening night. They've got motorcycle stunts, illusionists, musical acts. They've really got it all. And it actually starts this weekend. So again, like you don't have to wait till the end of October to get out and go and enjoy fair and festival season.
True.
It's happening this weekend. And if you're looking for something a little more quirky, more exciting, bit more unique, the Renaissance Fair in Lebanon happens Saturdays and Sundays starting this weekend, again, through mid-October. And so again, get out and enjoy the Renaissance Fair and that 16th century medieval fantasy world building and go enjoy and dress up and have yourself a ball.
Yeah, we had a conversation with the organizers fairly recently. It's pretty amazing just what we have to offer here in Connecticut and really hitting all the different interests. And there's really something for everyone. And I just want to mention really quick, because I think you also talked about your love for the Chester Fair. So why does this fair stand out for you?
For me, Chester is one of those iconic Connecticut towns, right? It's super charming. In the summer, we love hitting the farmers market. In the fall, get to the fair. It's just again, it's one of those things where you get to experience a new town potentially for some folks, or just a town you haven't visited in a while, and get to experience the fair and enjoy, again, the charming nature of what makes Connecticut so special.
So I'm going to ask you as well. We've mentioned food. So, of course, that's a huge motivation for many of us. Apples. So any orchards that you would mention? I know Francesca shared with us Lyman Orchards is one of her favorites. What are some of your favorite places?
Yeah, Francesca mentioned her family's love language is food. That is certainly mine too. And again, so much of our activities throughout the fall are getting out, enjoying, and going to pick your own or enjoy cider donuts, whatever it is. And for us, same thing, like Lyman Orchards is one of those tried and true, amazing. They're actually nominated for one of the best apple orchards by USA Today this year. So we're really excited for them and crossing our fingers for them. They've picked your own starting now. They have it every day. Right now, I believe it's pear season, and then it'll quickly turn to apple picking season. So get out and enjoy. And it's great for the kids, great for adults. It's just a great way to spend time in nature. The other one worth mentioning today would be Bishop's Orchard. So, again, it's never too late for ice cream. So if you want some great ice cream, you can go out and enjoy it. They also obviously have apples and cider, and it's just a great way to spend the afternoon.
Listen, I love a good fall season flavored ice cream. So
100%.
never a bad time. So listeners, if you haven't figured out by now today, we're exploring some fun and exciting Connecticut fall events and happenings. So let us know if you have some favorite fall activities that you'd like to share with us and everyone else. Give us a call, 888-720-9677, or find us on Facebook and Twitter at Where We Live. We've also asked our colleagues here in the building about their favorite fall traditions. Sabrina Herrera, our Latino Initiative editor and host of Generation Barney podcast, says one of her favorite fall traditions is going to the Southington Apple Harvest Festival for warm apple fritters. So clearly apples and food are on our mind. And I want to go to Jordan Paulin now. She's the executive director of the Hartford Business Improvement District. You're nodding pretty much this entire time. So what are some of the things that you're looking forward to?
Gosh, let's see. I couldn't possibly pick just one thing.
Right.
I mean,
we're not going to ask you to pick one.
No,
so pick several.
So some of the things that I'm looking forward to in Hartford, Connecticut, starting right away, we're wrapping up our very busy summer events season. We produce about 100 events over the course of a full calendar year, and we have our last Spooky Popcorn coming up this Saturday night. We run Connecticut's only free outdoor horror movie series, and we're showing 28 days later this Saturday night. Next weekend on September 6th, we are producing the Bizarre Bazaar, which sort of kicks off our spooky season with a vendor market filled with local creatives and artisans who are making things that are very specifically weird and unusual. And then our organization has a large part in the management of Pratt Street in downtown Hartford, and we have a huge fall event season coming up there. So there's just some things that not only am I looking forward to attending, but we're looking forward to helping bring to the rest of the general public.
Well, actually, if people want to know what's happening, where can they go for that information?
So they can go and find every single thing that is happening in the city of Hartford in every single neighborhood on hartford.com.
Pretty easy and straightforward.
Very easy and straightforward.
Well, and then going into spooky season, Jordan, tell us about the Cedar Hill Cemetery, because I'm actually really excited to start booking tours. So give me all the details.
Absolutely. So the Cedar Hill Cemetery is home to many Hartford notables. So the Colts are buried there. Katharine Hepburn is buried there. But the thing that I think is the most interesting about Cedar Hill is some of the public programming that they do. So they offer throughout the entire year, but specifically coming into spooky season, I think people are really interested to have some of those tours happen in that fall time. It's a stunning cemetery. It's absolutely beautiful. The headstones are gorgeous. The mausoleums are beautiful. It's a great place to visit just for the visuals. So if you don't sign up for the tours, I highly recommend going in and just walking around and taking some pictures. But some of the tours that they've done are evening lantern tours throughout the cemetery. They have one coming up that is specifically oriented to strange ways that people died. So they'll give you a walk through the cemetery and talk about unusual deaths in the area. And I don't know if they specifically call out Horace Wells, but if you go to the cemetery, Horace Wells is credited as being sort of the father of modern anesthesia in dentistry, but was a Hartford-based person, and his headstone is absolutely one of the most beautiful sights in the cemetery.
Well, and what a great way and a unique way to learn more about the area and the state. A different kind of storytelling, right? And I think another unlikely haunt is the Hartford Ancient Burying Grounds. So why does this make your list of must-see location in the fall?
So the Hartford's Ancient Burying Ground is the oldest historic site in Hartford, the oldest headstone dating back to 1647. That site has always been really special to me. I think that cemeteries have always been a really interesting place because not only are you seeing the history, but you're also seeing the individuals who made that history happen. So the Ancient Burying Ground specifically, it was Hartford's primary graveyard from the 1640s through the 1800s. I think that the estimate is something like 6,000 people were buried there over that course of time. But one of the things that makes that burying ground special is that anyone who died in town, regardless of age, gender, race, economic status, ethnic background, or religious faith, was buried there. So it's this fabulous mix of all of these people who are integral to building Connecticut's capital city and the state into what it is today.
Well, and another historic location that's also, I think, top on your list is the Old State House in Hartford. So why is that on the list?
So between the Old State House and the Ancient Burying Ground, they also run tours and education programs that are specific to the witchcraft panic that took place in New England. And Hartford actually, I mean, I'm not going to say boasts the first witch hanging in the Americas, but
We get what you're saying.
yeah. But the first witch that was hanged in the Americas was Alice Young from Windsor, who was hanged in that area in 1647, 45 years before the Salem witch hunts.
Right.
And they run programming back and forth that explores some of that panic. And on the Old State House side, once you're there, not only is it, the site of the Amistad trials, and it's an unbelievably important place in Connecticut's history, but they also have this really charming, quirky, strange museum of curiosities on one of the upper floors. And you can go in and see some truly unusual taxidermy. They have a two-headed calf. They have a two-headed pig in a jar. There's a narwhal horn. It's an unbelievably strange and interesting place.
I mean, if there's a time and place to do that, it would be now.
It would be now. Absolutely.
Well, then, Jared, because we're talking about spooky season, we've asked some of our colleagues here at Connecticut Public when they start celebrating Halloween. And our on-air animator and designer, Sam Hockaday, told us that September is October Eve. At our house, all the decorations will be coming out this weekend. So, Jared, what's on tap for Halloween this year, and when do you think that should start?
I heard a rumor that in your office, some people believe that July starts spooky season too. So
Well, Summerween is a thing, right, for many.
there we go.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, some things that we're excited about for spooky season. So the pumpkin passage at the dinosaur place in Montville. So they transform into this magical wonderland of lights, pumpkins, and friendly dinosaurs. And this is an annual event in the Trail of Lights, like I said, and it's a great way for the kids to get out. Again, be outside and see the dinosaurs all lit up and with pumpkins. So that's really fun. And that's happening throughout weekends in October. And then another one that I'm excited about is in Mystic. They offer ghost tours, great way to spend time. Again, I love being on the water, and Mystic's such a great town. And it's a great way to explore the historic downtown of Mystic while crossing the bridge and seeing both sides of the town and the river and hearing some haunted tales throughout. So those two events and really popped out at me for spooky season this year.
Well, it's amazing to hear there is so much to do in our stay here in Connecticut. And Jordan, because your focus is more in the Hartford County area and, the capital, and a lot of people come through here, how have you been able to preserve the spirit and culture of Hartford through these events?
So in the work that we do, we're very event first in what we program and in the things that happen in and around our city. It's such a dynamic and diverse capital city. September 19th on Pratt Street, we have our Salsa Social. And this is a really good example in terms of the programming that is happening in Hartford that is really representative of all of the people who live in our city. So there truly is a little bit of something for what is an incredibly diverse group of people. I mean, for 120,000 individuals,
Right.
There's just an unbelievable amount of variety. So being able to program things that are specifically for those people, the people who live in our city, the people who love our city, that are going to be exciting and interesting for people who live around Hartford to come and explore, has been a real driver for everything we do. So in addition to the Salsa Socials, you can do Stars Hollow Saturdays and come down to Pratt Street and have that really sort of charming, adorable experience. Things like a vintage market or a Dia de los Muertos celebration, trick-or-treating. They're doing a thriller dance on Halloween. I think that being able to celebrate the different communities, the different people, the different individuals who make Hartford such a beautiful and vibrant place to live has been my favorite part of that piece.
Well, clearly our list of things to do is very long for this fall season. I want to thank both of our guests for joining us today. You're listening to Jordan Pollan, who's the Executive Director of Hartford Business Improvement District. Jordan, appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
And also Jared Benoff, who's the Chief Operating Officer of visitnewengland.com and Visit Connecticut. Jared, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Awesome. Thank you.
And speaking of fall events, I'm going to add another one to your list. We're launching a new community initiative called Where We Read. We'll be gathering in person throughout the year and also providing you with a designated space to find all things bookish across Connecticut Public. But first, we would love to hear from you what bookish things you're interested in, what you're reading, what literary themes light you up. Join me and the Where We Live team on September 6th at Rebel Dog Coffee Co. in East Hartford. Don't worry, there's no assigned reading, no pressure, just a relaxed conversation among fellow book lovers. Find out more on ctpublic.org/whereweread. And as you manage a busy fall schedule, remember, fall is also a time for rest and renewal. Coming up next, we're talking about fall self-care. Join the conversation, 888-720-9677, or leave us a comment on Facebook and Twitter at Where We Live. This is Where We Live from Connecticut Public Radio. I'm Catherine Shen. Fall, a time of harvest, a time of renewal, a time of rest and retreat. Some people go for New Year's resolutions, but autumn is also a great time to set intentions for the seasons ahead. Fall is also a sacred time for many faiths. Joining us now is Reverend Tracy Mayer Muska, who's an assistant director in the Office of Religious and Spiritual Life at Wesleyan University. Thank you so much, Tracy, for being back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So why does it feel like such a time of renewal and self-care during the fall?
Well, the fall does represent change. For people involved in the academic calendar, there's often going back to school. But even those who aren't, there are different activities and committees that take a break during the summer.
Right.
So the fall is an opportunity to begin anew and to start a new chapter.
And so we were just talking about, too, how I think a lot of people are lamenting that time is flowing by so fast. You know, what happened to summer? I felt like I didn't have one, et cetera, et cetera. So can you talk about the transitions? You know, it doesn't have to be something we're sad about, something to look forward to, perhaps.
Right. I think it's important to acknowledge the sadness of summer ending, perhaps. But also, as you've heard earlier in the program, there's so much to look forward to. And there's also an opportunity to be mindful about how we take care of ourselves as our pace begins to increase, as we're experiencing changes with maybe new friend groups or new routines or a new pace. So just being mindful of how we can live into that with intentionality and purpose, and ensure that we're caring for ourselves even in the busyness.
Well, then you talk about caring for ourselves. I think sometimes we forget also to care for our physical self, because sometimes our bodies go through a change too, right? As we transition seasons and we're getting a little less sunlight, maybe a little bit more time indoors. You know, how do we stay mindful of what our bodies and minds need when we're changing seasons?
Right. My invitation for people is to be attentive to your body, mind, and spirit, and be conscious of what you're feeling. There are so many different ways we can practice self-care in the fall. And I don't like the term self-care. I prefer the word stress mitigation, because there is so much stress that presents itself this time of year. But as we're engaging in these activities that help us mitigate our stress, we are able to live into it more fully. So some of those, I think, are just connecting with people. And we've heard all these amazing opportunities that we can do in Connecticut.
Right.
And we can do those with people that we love or that we care about. I think in the fall, we also can be more mindful of getting more sleep, because as our pace increases and as our responsibilities increase, sometimes our sleep takes a toll on that. And exercise and physical activity is clearly a way that we can maintain our physical and emotional wellness.
And so, because there are so many things going on, I think, all the time. Of course, it doesn't help that we just got a list of things that we should do. No pressure, but they're so fun. They all sound so fun. But this is also a time where people. I think there's many camps. I think, but you're going forward super fast, or this is a time for you to slow down. I think depending on what kind of person, like what kind of personality you are or where you are in life. And oftentimes people use this time to set goals and intentions at the start of the fall, whereas I think many others start at the start of the year in January. So how do you approach this? I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do this, but what are your thoughts about, when to set intentions and goals?
I think the fall is a beautiful time to do that. And I think a good intention could be an intention to be more mindful. And whether we're very busy driving people around, or work schedule might have an uptick, et cetera, we do have an opportunity to pay closer attention to what's around us. And that could involve looking more intentionally at the fall foliage, or tasting that apple
Right.
at the market, or just being present to the environment. And one of the activities I do with my students in the fall is I give them each a leaf from the outdoors and invite them to spend a few minutes looking at it. And even that activity lowers their blood pressure, invites them to recognize how beautiful this thing that they're holding is, and something that we walk past without maybe even considering it. So there are ways to incorporate mindfulness even in very everyday practices, even when we're very busy.
Oh, I love that you mentioned that, because I have been told in previous years to take a leaf with you at all times. So
love that.
yeah, it's a kind of like it's a good vibe. You're bringing life with you, and it's something green or orange or red or yellow. I love that, just because of that connection. But are there other ways that we can find ways to fit that mitigation into our lives? We talk about leaves. We talk about, I think a lot of people like to meditate. What are some other ways that you can recommend people to start this process?
Well, being outdoors does have great impact on our physical and mental health. And I know just last weekend we hiked Lion's Head Trail and went to the Norbrook Brewery after.
Oh, cool.
But just being purposeful about being outdoors. So if we have an opportunity, if we're bringing a child to school, for instance, maybe we can walk one day. And then we get the physical benefits and the mental health benefits of being outdoors and getting some physical activity. So I think as much time as we can spend outdoors, given the many demands we might have, could really benefit our well-being.
What about our friends who like to spend more time indoors? Do you have any advice of how to be better at that?
Well, I know a lot of spiritual and religious communities also start the fall off with a new program year. And they do that hoping people might connect with them in one way or another. So that could be a way where people can find that social connection, find that sense of spiritual well-being, and perhaps connect with a new community.
And we have Jared Benoff, who is with visitnewengland.com and Visit Connecticut with us still. Jared, would love some thoughts from you in terms of any fall activities that are centered around relaxation and renewal.
Yeah, I love this idea and this sentiment. And it's, again, I go back to getting out, spending time in the outdoors, go for a hike, treat yourself with a snack, enjoy, and then maybe relax and unwind at a spa or, one of the small charming bed and breakfasts or inns around the state. And it's just a great way, like you said, to take that moment and like recenter yourself and just unwind and sort of set yourself up for a great way to enjoy the season and just be with nature.
Well, it sounds like we are all being told to relax this season, so I hope we all get a chance to do that. And Tracy, I want to finish off with you here. As we mentioned, there's so many things going on. So how do we schedule ourselves without being overwhelmed?
I think, again, being in tune with our own bodies and knowing what we need and trying to pay attention to that. So I think sometimes there are many things out of our control.
Right.
But if there are occasions when we can pace ourselves and we can be gentle with ourselves and we can forgive ourselves for forgetting to make that appointment, or, just being mindful of how we can be gentle with ourselves, really. And I just also wanted to say it's not about self-care isn't about a privilege per se. I mean, we can all exercise self-care. We're all entitled to that.
Well, about 20 seconds here. What's your first fall activity?
I think I'm going to keep going with the hiking and exploring some new trails. And I'm now excited to explore some of these small towns.
Well, we're happy to help. Thank you so much for joining us for this hour. You've been listening to Reverend Tracy Mayer Muska, who's the Assistant Director in the Office of Religious and Spiritual Life at Wesleyan University. Tracy, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
And you were also listening to Jared Benoff, who is the Chief Operating Officer of visitnewengland.com and Visit Connecticut. Thank you so much for spending time with us today as well.
Thank you.
I'm Catherine Shen. Today's show is produced by Tess Terrible. Our technical producer is Dylan Reyes. Download Where We Live anytime on your favorite podcast app. Thank you all so much for listening, and happy fall activitying, everyone.